You mentioned the very Englishness of the movie, and that's what you loved about it. What was that your initial reaction when you saw the finished article?
It's when I first started to look at the script, I realised that what Ken shared with me was that I divide VE Day, people born either side of VE Day, into what I call the crows and the finches. We're numerous, but some of us are pre-war, and thus crows, and some of us are post VE Day, and we're finches. We're more colourful and less burdened. Ken's 10 years older than I am, maybe even a bit older than that, and so he's from the group prior, that if there's a generation gap, it was created around VE Day. And of course there are people that could cross over, like Ken, like George Melly, like all kinds of people, like Kit Lambert, who's a few years older than me as well. But when I first saw the script, I realised that what he'd actually been able to do was to really locate the actual telling of the story in a proper chronological context. In other words, to take away the vagueness of the original context that we'd had, and let's say this is the end. The war is still going on. There's a blitz going on. Bombs are dropping. This couple meet. They get married. Tommy is born at the end of the war, and therefore then what we actually have is a story that relates very much to the emergence of the guitar rock hero around the early 60s as a folk singing observer, reflecting mirror to the disaffection and difficulty of the young working class men in particular, but families, I suppose, young families were getting used to the fact that they were having to find a new way of getting dignity, respect, and finding a way of establishing themselves in the order of society without being a member of the services. Because everybody in the previous generation had been in the services. Every single one of them. If they hadn't been in the services, they were either black marketeers or they did some other work, or that they were conscientious objectors. So what we were able to do what Ken did, and he enabled me to suddenly grasp the fact that this was a story that was very much my story, my childhood story, but also a story which what actually happened is that I suddenly realised, now I understand why everybody likes what I do. Because I couldn't really quite work it out. I couldn't really quite work it out why Tommy had been so accepted. I suddenly realised that it had been accepted because it was like holding up a mirror to an entire generation of people who said, yes, this is me, this is what I feel, and this is what I went through, this is my experience, not precisely, but very much, or an experience that many shared, and that Ken's film, the Englishness of it, the Britishness of it, the colourful quality of it, the humour in it, it's bits of it are almost like a carry-on film. Bits of it are almost like a parody of English life. The holiday camp scene, it's not overdone. I grew up on those holiday camps. They were worse than that. They were crazier than that. My father did, 15 summer seasons at various Butlins holiday camps. That I developed my tactics for escaping from difficult situations by escaping from holiday camps when I was only 4. You're up the chainmail, it's like getting out of prison camp. And so he was the right guy to observe that. The only thing I would say is that because he was a pre-VE Day guy, he was born in the war and grew up in the war, he was with those people whose suffering was very different. The suffering of people in the war was real. Real bombs had dropped on them. My mother and father played at a concert in Bristol when the back of the theatre was bombed, and they both pulled out bits of people from the rubble. It's hard to imagine what that could have been like. So you open up with this scene of three sexy chorus girls, you know, with gas masks on, walking across rubble, and you see this teddy bear, you know, it's in the rubble. What you know is that this is something that Ken has seen. Other people, of course, were evacuated, taken away from their parents and sent to the countryside, and often sent into the care of people who didn't take care of them properly because they thought we're all dead anyway, you know. And when you came home from those places, you were expected to be grateful. You know, you're alive, you know, there's peace now, just shut up about the war. So nobody talked about it. You know, if you sat with your granddad and you said, what was it like? He'd just say, listen, I don't want to know. As we now read about the war, we know why. It was absolutely shocking. Shocking beyond belief. And but my generation, which was born post VE Day, all we got was the party. You know, it was like it's all over. You know, the first 4 years of my life were just glorious. You know, travelling around in the group bus, going to Butlins, everybody singing, dancing, jumping in the swimming pool. You know, lovely legs competitions. I mean, literally, Ken got that. But Ken also had a sense of what had gone before, which I didn't have until I got involved with him and worked through the story of the movie. My generation, we remember the end of the war, the bomb, you know, and that was our thing. You know, Victor Gollancz, Bertrand Russell, it's the bomb, 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 it's the bomb. The only thing that matters is the bomb, it's the bomb, it's the bomb, it's the bomb. It's the one thing that's never happened to us is the fucking bomb. Everything else has happened. But that's what they told us, was that we would all have jelly and green slime coming out of our ears, and so there was no point going on. Then the Cuban crisis happened, and guess what? You know, the brilliant Kennedy brothers and McNamara and a few other people sorted it out, and we're still here. So what Ken was able to do was to place the Tommy story, which was kind of a mirror abstract on a whole generation, and really solidly locate it, and it solidly located it in England. So it's a quintessentially English film. I think in the last 20 years, Americans have come to understand a lot more about post-war England. And so the film is easier for them to grasp now and get to grips with. It's still a bit of a parochial piece, I think, more than the album was.